What is the second greatest commandment? The Lord Jesus Christ tells us in Matthew 22, verse 39, responding to an expert in the law, asking him, what is the greatest commandment in the law? The Lord Jesus Christ responds and says, and the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. That's the second greatest commandment. And so the question is, who is your neighbor? What does that mean? The Lord Jesus Christ tells us exactly who our neighbor is. In Luke 10, verse 30, another expert of the law asks the Lord Jesus Christ, and who is my neighbor? And this is how the Lord Jesus Christ responds. He says, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So too a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? And the expert in the law replied to the Lord Jesus Christ and said, the one who had mercy on him. And the Lord Jesus Christ responded and said, go and do likewise. So when the Lord Jesus Christ says, the second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself, and a neighbor is defined as anyone who needs help, is how this story from the Lord Jesus Christ lays it out. Anybody who needs help is your neighbor. That means as Christians, we need to help people if they're in situations where they need help. It doesn't mean that we judge people, because Jesus didn't say, if this person deserved it, leave them alone. I've heard that so many times, and I'm guilty of that as well. There are many people who say, well, if this person's poor or in this situation, or like this man who was beaten, why are they in that situation? Why didn't they work harder? Why don't they have more money? They must have done something wrong. They got themselves into their situation because of their own failures. Leave them be. I'm not going to help them. That doesn't matter. The Lord Jesus Christ says, he doesn't even bring that up. It means it doesn't matter. He didn't say, why did that man get robbed? Why was he in that place? Why didn't he have a weapon? Why did he go down that road? Why didn't he have companions with him? He didn't say any of that. He said the neighbor is the one who had mercy on him, and your neighbor is anyone who needs help. It doesn't matter if they got themselves in that situation or not, which means if you see someone and you're in a position to be able to help them, help them. That's what being a neighbor is. That's what being a Christian is. There are many things we have to do as Christians that other people would look and scoff, and they say, that's not what I would do. Do what you can with what you have. You have resources, and a lot of those resources are knowledge. If you see someone on the side of the road, you don't have money to spare, maybe you have knowledge, maybe you know about resources in your area, and you can say, here's a resource to help you. You can go here, and do this. Like, here's a job opening. Like, here's a shelter. Like, here's a food shelf. Maybe that's how you're helping. But to say that person deserves it, I'm not going to help them because they got themselves in that situation. When you are in a position to help them, that's not being a Christian. The Lord Jesus Christ says, your neighbor is anyone who needs help. The one who had mercy on the one who needed help is the neighbor. And to show God we love him, we have to keep his commands and obey him. The second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. And that means treat other people the way you want to be treated, regardless of if they got themselves in that situation or not. Think about that person who needs help being you. What would you want someone to do for you in that situation? If you really wouldn't want someone to pay away your problems, and you would rather someone give you a book or a pamphlet with resources so you can learn and improve your life, and you don't need to rely on them, do that. Give them a book, give them a pamphlet, give them resources, point them to a website. If they need help, treat them the way you would want to be treated if you were in that situation, regardless of if or how they got there. That's one of the many things we need to do as followers of the Lord Jesus Christ.